There's a split in black families that nobody wants to talk about. A divide that shapes us before we even understand what's happening. A different rule book depending on whether you were born a son or a daughter. And the truth is, black mothers don't raise their sons and daughters the same. Not even close. Now let's talk about that double standard today. The protection, the pressure, the favoritism, the resentment, the emotional labor, everything. Because it shapes how we become, how we love, and what we think we deserve. Now let's start off with the sons. Black mothers will protect their sons from the world like it's their full-time job, which it kind of is because they're a mother. A mother is a full-time job. You are on the clock 24/7. They soften the blows. They make excuses. They shield them from accountability because they know what the world wants. And it comes from love, it comes from fear, and it comes from wanting to keep the boys alive. But the side effect of this is black sons grow up believing they deserve softness, while black daughters grow up believing they have to earn it. Sons get comfort, daughters get responsibility. And I think that's where the term, like, oh, mama's boy comes in at. Because black mothers and black sons, they black mothers will protect their sons like no other. And we see it. We see it. Sometimes it's even shown in TV. Let's take Blackish for example. So I remember watching Blackish, and if you don't know Blackish, it's on Hulu and it's on Netflix. And Dre, he's this senior VP of this advertising company, or whatever it is. I forgot what he worked, but he's a senior VP. And Rainbow, she's a doctor, surgeon, doctor, surgeon, all that. So Rainbow feels like Dre's mother, Ruby, does not like her. And so she tells him that. And he's like, oh, she likes you, she likes you. That she's doing it. But then when it came to the episode where we finally meet Dre's mother, it's like she'll get these backhanded comments towards Rainbow. And he was still trying to make excuses for his mother. And then he was like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to draw you a nice bath and I'll be in there soon. So Rainbow was in the bath. She was waiting on her. And next thing you know, she got out the bath. She was like, okay, what's taking him so long? He's sleeping in the bed with his mama, eating biscuits. Well, fell asleep eating biscuits. And I was like, okay, your wife telling you that your mother really doesn't like her, and then next thing you know, you keep going back and tell your mother stuff that happened to Rainbow. Now I'm all for talking to your mama. There's no rule for saying, oh, don't talk to your parents, don't talk to your parents. But you told your mama that Rainbow was in therapy after having twins, Jack and Diane. Then he went on to tell his mama that Rainbow does not feel comfortable in her home with his mother there. I was like, really? You had to tell her that? And I feel like Dre is the definition of a mama's boy. And then when you see other things, like in real life, there are mama's boys. There are boys that are close to their mother, but then there are mama's boys. There's a difference, and I think a lot of people, they chalk up the people who are close to their mother as mama's boys, but they aren't. Now there are mama's boys out there that you sit there and tell them something about their mama, they're not gonna believe you because that's their mama. They do everything for their mama. They do this, they do that, they do that. And I'm like, okay, but when you get married, in the Bible now, because I know a lot of people, they say, well, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. And it's like, what does the Bible say? But when you have boys who are close to their mother, they will protect you. And that's just that. I mean, it says it in the Bible. The Bible presents marriage as a sacred, lifelong covenant between one man and one woman who, quote unquote, leave their parents to become one. Genesis 2:24 and Matthew 19:5-6 defines marriage as a loving union, emphasizing honoring parents throughout life and parents task parents with training children in faith while prohibiting interference within their married children's lives. And it says marriage requires prioritizing the spouse over parents, creating a new independent family unit. And my thing is, when you have a wife or you have a husband, whoever, you're supposed to cling to your partner. Cleave, whatever. You're supposed to be with your partner because you and your partner, y'all are one. Your parents have trained you up from birth to now. It's time to leave them, and it's time to cling to your wife. And say, mama's boy. It's a derogatory term for a male with an unhealthy emotional dependence on his mother, often failing to exhibit adult independence or self-reliance. He often lets his mother control his life, have heavily influence over his decisions, and prioritize her needs over romantic partners. Now, the key characteristics of a mama's boy: excessive dependence. He relies on his mother for emotional support, decision making, and daily tasks like laundry, finances, well into adulthood. Prioritizing his mother in romantic relationships, his mother's opinions and feelings take precedence over his partner's, leading to conflict. Lack of boundaries, he may share private details of his relationship with his mother and struggle to establish a separate life. And then the son-husband dynamic. Sometimes the mother-son bond is so intense it mirrors a marital relationship where the son expects his romantic partners to behave like his mother. Yeah, we see that. We do. We do. Sometimes men, these mama boys want their wife to do everything. Cook, clean, wash dishes, wash clothes, take care of the children. Damn near wash his ass. Yeah. Damn near wash his own ass. Because his mother did it. And avoidance and fear. He may be seen as timid or weak, failing to defend his partner against his mother. Yeah. And I saw a video on TikTok. It was about this mother. She was giving a toast at her son's wedding. And I think she was a single parent, and she was telling him and his wife, she said, I done raised him. I raised him to be the man he is today. But she said something about now I have to turn him loose. I have to step back so you two can become one. I have to step back. Some she said, and it right. It was right too. She did a beautiful speech. I try to remember what it was about and who it was, but I do remember she gave a speech about it though. So, but like I said, there's a difference between boys who love their mom and mama's boys. There's a difference. Now the daughters, child. Black daughters are raised with pressure that feels like training. They're taught to be strong. They're taught to be helpful. They're taught to be responsible for everyone's emotions but their own. They become the second mother, the emotional backbone, the one who knows better, the one who should have known better, the one who doesn't get to break down because you're quote unquote too grown for that. And the wild part is, you're still a child when all of this is happening. Black daughters don't get protected. They get prepared. Prepared for struggle, prepared for disappointment, prepared for a world that expects everything from them and gives nothing back. And when it comes to black mothers and black daughters, I really I really feel for the daughters because you you're supposed to protect your child. And then you sit up here and act like your child like you're in competition with your child. Like y'all act like it's a competition between you and your child now. You're supposed to be the adult and you are in competition with a child. Like, are you for real right now? Black daughters are the second mother basically. They some of these black parents they would rather have the daughter to raise the children and then create conflict if the child does not take care of the child that they want to take care of. Well, you later there had the child. So why should the oldest daughter take care of the child? Huh? Huh? Like, first and foremost, stop expecting black daughters to do this and do that. Stop expecting them to always have everything together. When you have a child, whether it's a son or a daughter, I'm gonna need y'all to start do it differently. There's no reason why your son does not know how to cook. There's no reason why your son should expect his wife to do all the cooking, do all the cleaning, do everything around the house, and they do nothing. That's why I'm grateful and thankful to my mom that told me, she showed me how to cook at an early age. I think I was around about like, I want to say 7 when I started. I did something easy. I started doing like scrambled eggs. Right about when I was 7, that's when. And I said, "Oh, she would leave you in the kitchen with a hot stove." No, she was right there next to me. Please, let's use our brain. I remember she was right there next to me. She was like, "Okay, you crack the egg, put it in the bowl, get the salt and pepper." Okay, she said, "No, I'm not gonna do it for you. You get it. You whisk it up. Now you put it in the pan." Now, before I used to do eggs with oil, but baby, that oil started popping. Baby, y'all know about that oil popping. Y'all know all about when the oil be popping. Because baby, when that oil pop, you be ready to hit somebody. When that oil pop, it's like, ah! Child, I was, ooh, that thing was. But anyway, she said you. She said don't expect your wife to do all the cooking and all the cleaning. She said no. She said I'm not raising you that way. She said I'm not gonna raise you to depend on a woman. I'm not gonna raise you to sit there and think that a woman is supposed to do everything for you when you are able to do it yourself. When you have 2 hands and 2 legs. She said, no, you are going to sit there and cook. You're going to sit there and clean. I'm not going to let you run your wife raggedy. I'm not going to let you do that because first and foremost, I'm not raising you that way. I'm raising you to be a gentleman. I'm raising you to be know how to do certain things. So when I tell y'all I can cook, and I can bake, and I can clean. So she said, so I was like, I'm forever grateful to my mom. And it's just when I say that there are boys who love their mom and their mama's boys, I'm a boy who loves my mom because It's been me and my mom for the longest. And I know what the Bible says because she's been telling me that for the longest. When you get a wife, it's no more, oh, let me tell my mama this, let me tell, no. She said, when you get a wife, you and that wife become one. You have to leave me. You have to cling to your wife. She said, Mama's always gonna be there, but Mama's gonna be in that background. Mama's not gonna be interfering with you. Mama's not gonna be there because you will be married. The Bible says, train the child up. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm forever grateful to my mom. Okay, I don't care what anybody say. But seriously though, I'm gonna need y'all to start teaching y'all sons how to cook. Stop. I don't want to hear anything about, well, cooking is not manly. Well, you gotta eat, don't you? Don't sit there and expect the woman to do every single thing for you. Don't expect the woman to sit there and cook your meals, clean your clothes, wash your dishes, do all this, that, and the third. Don't expect that to happen. Now this is where the tension comes in. Sons grow up expecting care. Daughters grow up providing it. Sons grow up believing that they're enough, but daughters grow up believing they're doing they're never doing enough. And that creates resentment. Quiet, unspoken, generational resentment. Daughters watch their brothers get praised for the bare minimum. Sons watch their sisters carry burdens they never had to touch. And nobody talks about it because that's just how it is. But how it is doesn't mean how it should be. And here's the part that hurts the most. Black mothers aren't doing this on purpose. They're repeating what they were taught. They're parenting from fear, from trauma, from survival, from the roles they were forced into. They were once the overworked daughters. They were once the ones who had to be strong. They were once the ones who didn't get softness. So they had to give their sons the softness they never had, and they had to give their daughters the strength they were forced to learn. It's not fair, but it's familiar. And that's where generational trauma comes in at. And that's why I say we have to break the cycle. We have to. Mothers and sons, mothers and daughters, two different relationships, two different expectations, two different emotional worlds under the same roof. And if we're going to heal as individuals, as families, as a community, we have to name the split. We have to acknowledge the double standard. We have to stop pretending the pressure was equal. Because the truth is simple. Black daughters deserve softness too. Black sons deserve accountability too. And black mothers deserve support long before they ever became mothers. That's the work. That is the unlearning.